Alright guys, so we're on to the last step of the store setup. Now in this video I'm going to show you guys how to set up your preferences page, how to make a URL redirect so your product page URL does not look so ugly, and then how to finish up your settings. So first, let's make that URL redirect. Click on navigation, and then click on URL redirects. Now I already have one made right here. And basically to make it, all you gotta do is type in the URL you wanna redirect from, and then you gotta type in the URL you wanna redirect to. So to do this, all you gotta do is go to your product page. You want to grab your URL, so this, go back in here, paste it in, and then write something that's easy for people to remember. So I did /by. Now you can make it like /shop or /neck, whatever you want it to be really. But most of the time I just do /by. So now if you go over here, you could type in mrneck.com/buy, and it should take you right to this page. Now this is very useful for Facebook when you're advertising, because on your advertisement, you don't want to be showing a link that's this long. You kind of want to make it a little bit more condensed so it doesn't take up too much room, and it's also easy for people to remember. So once you have your URL redirect set up, let's go into preferences. And over here in preferences, you can set your homepage title. Now the homepage title is the title you're going to see on your website when you're on your desktop. So this right here. So I set it to Mr. Neck Instant Neck Relief. Now for the homepage meta description, just write something that fits your product. It doesn't have to be too long. This description is going to be the description people see when they search for your store on Google. Now if you don't rank on Google, people aren't even going to be able to see this, so you don't have to worry about this too much unless you're trying to do some SEO and also sell your products on Google. So next up is Google Analytics. This is useful for tracking some of your customer behavior on Google Analytics. Now I used to use Google Analytics in the past, but after gaining some more experience I stopped using it. But if you want to attach your Google Analytics account to it, all you got to do is paste your code right here. Alright, so next up is the Facebook Pixel. Now we haven't really made a pixel yet, but we're going to get to it soon, so there's no pixel ID to paste in here yet. But basically what the pixel does is it tracks all of your customers' behavior on your store. So if somebody comes to your site, visits a page, adds to cart, and purchases, Facebook will be able to track all these different events. And over time, if you're optimizing for a conversion like purchase, Facebook will be able to utilize this data to try and optimize for your conversion event. So it's very important for you to attach your pixel. You won't even be able to run your ads without attaching the Facebook Pixel. Next up is the password protection. Now make sure your password protection is always turned off when you're running the store, because if you have this enabled, you can only see the store if you have an administrator account or you actually have the password to log into the store. So when you're ready to launch your store, make sure to turn this off. Alright, so that's it for the preferences section. Now let's go into settings. So the first setting we're going to look at is general. So here you can set your store name, set the contact email that Shopify can contact you with. They're going to send all the order confirmations from customers over to your store contact email. As well as if you run into any problems with Shopify, they'll contact you via this email. Now the customer email right here is for the customer support, so make sure you write in your support email right there. And basically the store address, we filled that out during setup, so you don't have to worry about that. Unless you want to change your address, then you can definitely go back in and change it. And then for the time zone, I always leave it as Central Time, US and Canada. And then for the store currency, US dollars for me, but maybe if you're selling to a different country, you might want to change that as well. Alright, so location is basically going to be the setting where you change your storefront location. Depending on if you have like an actual warehouse where you're fulfilling the orders out from, or if you're using AliExpress, you might want to change the locations. But if you're using like AliExpress or drop shipping from China, then most likely you won't have to mess around with the location settings. Next is plans and permissions. Now over inside plans and permissions, you can see all of the different types of plans. You could upgrade your plan. You could also add additional staff accounts. Now let's go take a look at the different types of plans that Shopify offers. So as you can see, there's 3 packages. I'd recommend beginners to start off on the basic package, and then once you start crossing into higher revenue numbers like 50,000 to 100,000 per month, where you have to start hiring employees and adding more staff accounts, then it'd be very feasible for you to upgrade your plan to the $79 plan over here. And the main differences between these plans, in my opinion, is that you get more staff accounts, and then you also get lower transaction fees on your processor. So if you're making like $1 million in revenue per month, it's very evident that you have to upgrade to the $300 plan, because saving 0.5% on your transaction fees is going to actually be a lot of money. But when you're first starting off and you're only making a few $100s in sales, maybe even a few thousand, then it's not going to be worth it for you to be paying the additional money to upgrade the plan to the $79 or the $299. So if you're just starting off, stick to the $29 plan, and then when the opportunity comes, then upgrade your plans to $79 and all the way up to $299. Alright, so that's everything for plan and permission. Next, let's take a look at payment providers. So inside payment providers, you can attach Shopify payments. Now this is basically Stripe integrated with Shopify. So the setup is very, very easy. All you got to do is click on complete account setup and then follow the instructions. Now Shopify payments is not supported for every country, so make sure to look that up first and make sure Shopify payments is supported for your country. Next we have PayPal. Now this is something I've never used now, or not never, but I haven't used it now for over 2 years, because way back like 3 years ago I ran into a lot of issues with PayPal holding my money and just being overall very annoying when it came to dropshipping, because they don't really support the dropshipping model. So I'd recommend you guys not to use PayPal if you're doing dropshipping, because you are going to run into a lot of issues when you're scaling. And then I've also noticed that after I took PayPal off of my store and only used Shopify payments or Stripe, there really wasn't a difference in conversion rate, because I think Facebook is smart enough to target people who don't have PayPal and would prefer to use Visa or like MasterCard or Amex to pay versus like people who use PayPal. Next, we got Amazon Pay over here. Now Amazon Pay could be pretty good if you attach it to countries like, or Amazon Pay could be really good if you're trying to target countries like the UK, where a lot of people like to shop online with Amazon Pay. But I do know that in the US, it's like people will pay with Amazon Pay, but it's not like they prefer to use Amazon Pay versus just putting in their credit card. So depending on the country, maybe you want to opt in for Amazon Pay. Next, if you don't have the opportunity to use Stripe in your country, then you can look into third-party providers. So if you click over here, they'll have a list of all these different payment processors that you could potentially apply to, where it's going to work for your location. So yeah, have a look through this if you can't use Stripe. Otherwise, I'd recommend most beginners to start off with Stripe and then look into some custom plans with your bank, because they could potentially lower your transaction fees. Alright, so that's payment providers. Now gift cards I don't really use. Store languages, I always keep mine on English. And now let's take a look at checkout. So inside checkout, you could customize your style. So click over here, customize checkout. So for the logo part, you just paste your logo in right here. It'll just pop up over here. Now I'm pretty sure I went over this entire setup inside the Shopify theme section of the course, but I'll just go over it for you guys again in case some of you guys missed it. Usually I center my positions to the left, and then I make my logo small, but you could adjust this if you want to. You can make it in the center, you can make it on the right. It doesn't really matter, I'd say. Most of the times I just leave it on the left. And then you can also customize the logo size. You could even add a background image to the main content, but I like to keep mine clean, so I don't put an image here. I keep my background color white, form fields white, and then no background image for the order summary as well. So you could basically put an image over this entire area right here. You can modify your typography, and then make sure your colors are set to your brand colors. And that's about it for the checkout settings. So for my checkout settings, I have accounts disabled. Customers can only check out using email. They've added this feature where you can check out actually using your phone number or email, but I only allow people to check out with email. Then I have the shipping updates turned off, because all the shipping updates will send via email and not through their phone number or this app. I just feel like sending out notifications through the phone is a little bit invasive, so I have it turned off. Now I always require first and last name, and this is beneficial when it comes to chargebacks because later down the road you'll most likely experience chargebacks, and it'll be easier to win them if you have their full name. Company name, I have it hidden. Address too is optional, and then shipping address, phone number is also hidden. And then when a customer is checking out, allow the shipping address as the billing address by default, because most people it's like the shipping and billing will be the same, so this will allow them to check out faster. And then always have enable address auto completion turned on. Finally, over here, do not automatically fulfill any of the order line items, and then make sure to check on automatically archive the order so your order sheet is not fully stacked. Now I always check on pre-select the sign up option. You don't necessarily have to, but it's definitely beneficial because you're going to build a much bigger newsletter if you have this checked. Now I always turn off automatically send abandoned checkout emails off because we're using Klaviyo, so they're going to send out abandoned checkout emails as well, and you don't want Shopify to send one out and you don't want Klaviyo to send one out because then people will have 2 emails. Alright, so that's it for the checkout settings. Now let's go over to notifications. So notifications is basically the emails people get when they place an order. So over here you have all these different types of notifications. And the main ones that I usually edit is the order confirmation email right here. Now you can go through the rest of these notifications and edit them if you want to, but most of the times I just leave it as default. If you click over here, it'll open the order confirmation email, and you can edit this template to your liking. So this is all done in HTML, so if you don't know how to do HTML, you'll have to learn a bit as to how HTML works. But most of the times I'll just modify some of the text up here. So if you want to preview this, click on preview, and it's going to give you the default template. Now I'd say the default template looks good enough most of the times, but sometimes you might want to customize it a bit, so then you'd have to go to the notification section of your settings and modify it. Alright, so now we're on to billing. So inside billing, you want to attach your credit card. Now the billing is going to be the method that you use to pay for your Shopify and all of your applications. And before you can actually launch your store, you have to attach a payment method to pay for Shopify. So make sure you attach your payment method and then turn off the password for your Shopify store. Now they're going to also show you guys all the bills that you pay on Shopify. Next, we got shipping over here. Alright, so here we are on the shipping settings. So over here you get to determine your shipping rates. So what I'm going to do is click on this, and I'll delete this zone, and then I'll also delete this zone, and I'll do it from scratch. So click on create shipping zone. We're going to call this worldwide, and then we're going to click on add rate. I will call it free shipping and price it at $0. Now if you want to charge people for shipping, you can make standard shipping and charge like $7.95 or $9.95 depending on what your cost of goods is, but most of the times I just slap on the shipping price onto the product price as well, so that it looks like it's free shipping, because it seems like when people get free shipping it converts a lot higher versus when they have to actually pay for shipping. And for the zone, I have it set to worldwide, but if you want to exclude some countries like India, Indonesia, Pakistan, places where there's high numbers of chargebacks, you can definitely do that as well. Now it's set to worldwide because most of the times I'm running worldwide targeting for these stores, and basically anyone that comes to the store will be able to see the free shipping. So click on save. And now let's go back. Alright, so over in the file section you can upload your custom files onto Shopify and they'll host those files for you. The legals, we kind of cover that up over the Shopify store setup videos. Now taxes, you'll have to consult with an accountant, or you could look up your own rates online and put them into this section over here. Now this is mainly for sales tax purposes. Now if you go into sales channel, you could add additional sales channels, but I've actually never done this myself. I just know you can add sales channels for like Messenger, eBay, Facebook, Amazon. And if you do have different types of storefronts on like Amazon, then this could be a good thing for you. Alright, so that's just about it for the overall settings. I think at this point your store is ready to go. Now you just have to make a Facebook Business Manager, create a Facebook page, and then set up your ad account, and then you're ready to launch ads. So I'll see you guys in the next video.